I love dinosaurs. 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 I love dinosaurs because they're cool. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Dinosaur University Live. Of course, we're not always about dinosaurs, we're about all kinds of prehistoric animals. So today we're going underground at the Naracoorte Caves to see what megafauna we can find. And maybe not just megafauna, not just some of the big prehistoric animals. We're also going to pop into the Flinders University lab to see if we can find some teeth. And oh, of course we'll finish the show with the tune because I am a singing paleontologist after all. So let's begin, let's go under the ground.
The jewel in the crown of the Naracoorte Caves is without doubt the Victoria fossil cave. And this here is the entrance into which it was first discovered. Let's go inside and have a look. 1894, this is where they found and this is where they went through. But we're going to take a different way, an easier way, and we're going to see some amazing things in these most wonderful caves. This, of course, is a much easier entrance to go through than that discovered in 1894. And of course, oh, as we're going in, don't forget, spot of hand sanitizer. So here we are through the entrance, going down the stairs. What are we going to find? You will see. William Redden, who was the person who came through here, and this is where they dug out the first steps for public entrance. And you can see, we'll shine the torch up there, all the way, and this is where the public would have come in for the first time. So here is the floor level, and we can look here, go down, and all of this would have been dug out to make it accessible to the public. Let's go down these steps and see what we can find. The Victoria Fossil Cave, like many of the caves here in Naracoorte, are beautiful for so many reasons. As you can see here, the stalagmites and the stalactites. And there's a smell, there's a sense of ancientness about this place. But let's keep walking, and because very soon we'll come across some of the things for which this place is most famous for. This hole here is actually created by humans, by us, and what this hole was used for was all of the concrete that we see on the paths had to get in here somehow. So this hole goes all the way up to the ground. In 1969, two gentlemen who have become good friends of mine were clambering their way through this tiny little gap. This tiny little gap here in Victoria Cave. Grant and Rod. And as they came through this particular gap here, they sensed a bit of wind, a bit of movement of air. And it was that movement of air that made them go on and know that there would be a bigger area for them to look at. What did they find when they came into that bigger area? Let's find out. Not long after Rod and Grant sensed that movement of air, they made their way, slowly but with purpose. And this is what they found.
We'll take a closer look next week at some of these extraordinary fossils.
Just imagine crawling through those spaces without actually knowing where you're going or what you might find. It's just amazing the things that paleontologists do. Okay, so now the stalactites go from the ceiling and they go downwards, and the stalagmites, they go from the ground and they go up. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, of course, not all of the stuff we find in places like the Naracoorte Caves is about the megafauna.
Somebody's written a diary note. What have they written? Let's have a close look. What have we got? There's a picture of a Tamar wallaby, okay? What what does it say? They're very rare to find a complete skeleton. Yes, it is. And we know this because we need to ensure that the bones are protected from water and soil movement and from scavengers. Okay, because obviously an animal dies and somebody is going to want to eat it. And in order to become a fossil, in order for the complete skeleton or even any bones to be found, they need to not be eaten. So let's have a look. What have we got here? So we can see, oh yes, this is a fantastic example here. You can see the skull, you can see some teeth, you can see the ribs. And you notice, of course, that they're not all nicely set out. Some of the bones are scattered from one place to another, because when something dies, that's what happens. They move about, they're scattered, they might be blown in the wind, bits might be picked up by other animals. Of course, if they get buried in a cave like this, then this is such a great opportunity to see them. Two important things in that video. Firstly, the notebook. Now, a notebook can be something that you write in and you write notes and stuff. It can also be, you can use, like, if you've got a tablet or some kind of other recording, blah, 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 blah. Losing my mind. Two important things in that last clip. Firstly, of course, get yourself a notebook. Write down the things that you see in your garden, the nature in your garden, the nature you see in the street. Wherever you go, if you're on holidays somewhere, write down, make notes, have a go at drawing some pictures. Take some photos if you can, and keep them and store them and learn to make a note of your observations. That's the first thing. The second thing, of course, when we find a fossil, it's rare for us to find the whole fossil. We might find a bone or a tooth. We might sometimes, like with the Timor wallaby, we might find lots of it, but we will find it scattered all over the ground. And that's a whole other story to learn about in another episode, where we learn about how it is that fossils form and how we might later on discover them. But back to those teeth. Well, here we are at the lab. I'm with Kerry. Hello, Kerry.
G'day, Professor Flint.
Good, and you're good. We're all good. And we're just having a look at a couple of things that are on the table here at the lab. Now, this here is part of a leg bone, right?
Yes, that certainly is.
Of a diprotodon.
Yes, this is diprotodon.
And a little model you've got here. We get all the cool things here in the lab at Flinders. But what I want to focus on, right, is this here. So this is the bottom jaw of diprotodon. And as we often talk about, teeth. We love
very
teeth.
Important if you're a paleontologist.
And so what do these teeth tell us here, Kerry? What kind of animal was diprotodon if all we knew about it was its teeth?
Well, the teeth are actually quite massive. They're quite square, and they're not sharp and pointy like you'd expect from, say, a dinosaur or a crocodile or something. So straight away we can assume that diprotodon is a herbivore. And in fact, this is the largest herbivore that's ever lived in Australia.
Of course, because and as a herbivore, and as an Australian herbivore, it has that unique thing. So when it was alive, this little thing here, there'd have been a pouch right there.
That's exactly right. Yes, so this is a marsupial, which is the group of animals that keep their babies in the pouch. There are many, many types of marsupials in Australia today, and we find many, many more as fossils.
Fantastic. And at the front here, so these teeth, these two front teeth, funnily enough, diprotodon means two front teeth. So what would these teeth have been used for?
Well, there would have been the upper set of teeth, which would have curved over a bit like a rainbow. And
Kind
met
of
onto
curved
those.
over like that. That's right,
exactly
they curved
right.
over the top like that.
And so those front teeth are where the animal first encounters food. So it snips with those teeth.
Oh, right. So this is kind of like the lawnmower.
Yep.
The whippersnipper. The food then kind of makes its way very quickly to these, and the top teeth of these two was a row above it, and they would have basically mashed the food up.
That's right. So the two ridges that you can see on these teeth here, those two tall ridges on each tooth, they match the tooth from the top, And so you've almost got a machine that crushes and mashes vegetation in between them.
So this here is one tooth.
That's one tooth there.
Right, and that's where you say the two ridges. That is fantastic. Thank you very much, Kerry.
All right, thank you.
Thanks to Kerry in the Flinders University lab. And here's a couple of teeth of Diprotodon, similar to the ones that we were looking at in that video. And remember how I showed the top teeth would come down and they would be used for snipping the front. But this, you can see the size of them. And teeth are very, very, very important for paleontologists because, as we talked about, they will tell us what kind of animal it is, what kind of diet it has. These are the teeth, some of the teeth of Diprotodon. Here we have some teeth of a mosasaur, which are quite different. Here we can see this is a Eoraptor, that's right, Eoraptor, one of the very first dinosaurs, and you can see very closely its tiny little teeth. So teeth tell us all kinds of things about an animal, but they're also, because they are a hard thing like bones, they're much easier to fossilize, even though, as we talk about, fossils are very rare. Okay, look, to finish off, we're going to finish off with a tune, since we've been talking about Diprotodon, and this is possibly what they looked like. This fluffy little Diprotodon toy from Naracoorte. We're going to finish off with a tune all about Diprotodons. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We do this live every Sunday at 4 p.m. And feel free to join us next time. Cheerio!
I saw a Diprotodon skeleton when I went out for a walk one day. I saw a Diprotodon skeleton and wondered how it had got that way. They died a long time ago, they say. Goodness me, these old dry bones once walked around. Goodness me, they strolled upon this ancient ground. I saw a Diprotodon skeleton. I looked at it and I felt sad. I saw a Diprotodon skeleton and wondered what kind of life it had. And was it a mum or maybe a dad? Goodness me, these old dry bones once walked around. Goodness me, they strolled upon this ancient ground. I saw a Diprotodon skeleton. It made me stop, it made me think. I saw a Diprotodon skeleton and wondered what it would eat or drink, and if it was brown, blue, yellow or pink.